Today, let's take a look at the evolution of mythology and its effects on today. Mythology is an ancient belief and knowledge system in which stories, gods, heroes, and supernatural beings that form the cultural memory of a society are told. Since ancient times, mythology is a reflection of people's efforts to understand the world, explain nature, and grasp the meaning of life. Mythologies have been a guide for people. They have guided people in a wide framework from natural events to human characteristics, from the value judgments of society to moral codes. Basic functions of mythology. The emergence and persistence of mythologies is based on several basic functions. These functions explain why societies create and preserve myths. The main functions of mythology are as follows. Finding answers to universal questions. Mythology seeks answers to fundamental questions such as life, death, and the creation of the universe. In Greek mythology, the stories of chaos, Gaia, Earth, and Uranus, sky, which explain the formation of the earth and sky, offer people the first ideas to understand the origin of the world. Explaining natural phenomena. In ancient societies, natural phenomena were explained by mythological stories. For example, in ancient Greece, Zeus sending lightning bolts in his anger was seen as an explanation for storms. In Viking mythology, storms were thought to be the result of the god Thor swinging his hammer Mjolnir across the sky. Preservation of social order and morality. Mythologies contain moral rules and life lessons to establish and maintain social order. For example, the Osiris cult of ancient Egypt provided a moral framework for individuals, teaching about life after death and accountability in the afterlife. Building identity and culture. Mythological stories form the identity and cultural memory of a society. For example, in Turkish mythology, the figure of the wolf symbolizes the freedom and fighting spirit of the Turks, while in ancient Roman mythology, the myth that the founders Romulus and Remus were suckled by a wolf emphasizes the strong identity of the Romans. Evolution of mythology. Mythologies have constantly evolved in parallel with the development of societies. From the early ages to the Middle Ages and then to the modern period, mythologies have both changed and morphed. In this process, mythological figures and narratives have either acquired new meanings or blended with different cultures. Antiquity and the world of gods. In ancient times, gods were depicted with human characteristics. In Greek and Roman mythologies, gods are depicted as beings who rejoice, get angry, and fall in love like humans. For example, Zeus' jealousy or Aphrodite's love affairs reflect the human characteristics of these gods. Gods and heroes served as models for humans, contributing to the norms and value judgments of society with their weaknesses, successes, and mistakes. The Middle Ages and the Christianization of mythological narratives. The Middle Ages was a period of great transformation in mythology. With the rise of Christianity, pagan beliefs were largely suppressed and old mythological narratives were integrated into religious narratives. Pagan mythologies were blended with Christian values and new stories emerged. Especially in Western Europe, some gods were defined as demonic figures and some elements of mythology gained a symbolic meaning in Christianity. Rediscovery of mythology in the modern era. With the Industrial Revolution, interest in mythology began to increase again. In the modern period, mythology became a field of academic and artistic interest. Psychologists such as Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung considered mythology as a reflection of human psychology. With the concept of archetype, it was argued that mythological figures and events are symbols in the depths of the human psyche. According to Jung, mythological archetypes are part of the collective unconscious and are perceived in common by all humans. The impact of mythology today. Today, mythology is still influential in many fields. Mythological themes and figures continue to be used in many fields such as art, literature, popular culture, and psychology. Let's take a closer look at the impact of mythology in the modern world. Art and literature. Mythological stories continue to be a source of inspiration for painters, writers, and poets. Classical works such as Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, Shakespeare's works, and Dante's Divine Comedy feature mythological themes. Modern works such as Neil Gaiman's American Gods or Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson series reinterpret mythological stories. Popular culture and cinema. Mythological figures have a wide presence in popular culture, from Hollywood movies to video games. Figures such as Thor and Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are inspired by Norse mythology. Likewise, the story of Perseus from Greek mythology or the exploits of Hercules have been the subject of many movies and TV series. Psychology and personal development. Jung's theory of the collective unconscious and archetypes illustrates the influence of mythology in psychology. According to Jung, mythological figures reflect archetypes deep in the human psyche. Archetypes such as the hero, the wise old man, the mother are considered as guides in the individual's inner journey. From this perspective, mythology can be considered as a psychological tool for individuals to understand themselves and their environment. Rituals and traditions. In some cultures, mythological stories are still kept alive through rituals and traditions. For example, in India, the Ramayana and Mahabharata epics are preserved as part of the community's identity by being told in religious ceremonies and festivals. In Japanese culture, figures from Shinto mythology are venerated by the public at temples and festivals. Philosophical and spiritual influences. Mythology has enabled human beings to think deeply about the questions of existence. The quest for immortality in the Epic of Gilgamesh symbolizes man's struggle to come to terms with his mortality. Such themes have been a philosophical guide for individuals in their efforts to make sense of life and death. Universality of mythology. Mythological stories deal with similar themes in many societies, regardless of time and place. This shows that mythology constitutes a universal language. One reason mythologies are universal is that they reflect the basic characteristics of human nature. For example, almost every culture deals with the theme of heroism. Characteristics such as heroes coping with dangers, displaying extraordinary abilities, and protecting their communities are a reflection of the common value judgments of societies. Mythology has emerged in different forms in every culture throughout human history, laying the cultural, psychological, and moral foundations of societies. These stories, which have evolved from the past to the present, continue to be a source of inspiration in fields such as art, psychology, and popular culture. Mythologies are an ancient part of humanity's struggle to make sense of itself and continue to be a powerful guide to making sense of life even in the modern world.
Do you like our content? Support us and share your views in a comment. Take care.